Hey YouTube, this is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of Friday Free Thinking. Now, as I mentioned before, the companies decided to give us news on a Thursday night. So essentially what I did was I did the news coverage on Friday morning. Now, generally speaking, they usually come on Sunday. Well, I could technically speaking, it would be Monday morning. The thing is, I had to do it because for me, I like to react to the news and give you guys my perspective on whatever is coming up. So this week, perhaps maybe a little bit different simply because New Year's came on Friday. So what I decided to do is I'm doing Friday Free Thinking, I'm shooting this episode, and I'm going to be airing it on Saturday morning. So therefore, you guys at least will have something to watch on Saturday while I'm at work. And on top of it, simply I just shifted the news with the Friday and Saturday. So let's go ahead and do this episode of Friday Free Thinking. Friday Free Thinking is a platform that I'm using to essentially give you guys information and or opinions that I'd like to share, given the fact of there are many things that we should be talking about playing this wonderful game. And since this is 2021 officially, I would like to begin the year by giving you guys a glimpse of something that I'm hoping for in this upcoming year. And that is my wish list. Now, obviously, generally speaking, people do wish lists for things that they usually get involved in, whether it be hobbies or something they just really love in general. And I think for me, World Division has become truly one of my big loves. And I really want to have a wish list. And maybe you guys agree or maybe you guys don't agree. But either way, put what you guys are wishing for in 2021 in the comment section below, or feel free to comment the Discord, which I'm currently having a channel, and you guys can come in and tell me and maybe have a conversation with me. And of course, there's going to be another channel actually I'm being featured in the Discord that will give you that information as well. Another thing is, if you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button because we're really pushing for 1,000 subscribers as fast as possible. By being a 1,000 subscriber channel, I have access to more tools which I can communicate with you guys. Now let's go ahead and begin this video with perhaps things that I really wish for, but hope for, but maybe it'll never come, maybe it'll come. You never know, right? And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Global Server is slowly making a big migration away from the Japanese timeline, the Japanese flow of things. And I think overall that's pretty good because what producer Hiroki is trying to do is separate the global server from the Japanese server. I think the luxury that Hiroki has is the fact that whatever mistakes or changes that they make on the Japanese server, they can kind of reflect upon the reception based on how the Japanese players feel and sort of overlay it onto the global server with the global audience in mind. And I think that's the beautiful thing that he has to work with. And I think after reading his letter to us during the New Year's one, I really do feel like he does have a lot of love for this game, at least for the global version, which obviously he's responsible for. So this wish list isn't in any particular order, okay? I want to make sure that there's no priorities I'm giving anything more than the other. Okay, I want you guys to understand that. So the first thing I really want to talk about is progression. I wish that this game does not progress in year 2 as fast as year 1. As I mentioned before, the fact that there's a Japanese formula to go by with the server and the implementation of things such as the EX Job 25, there would seem to be some negative reception. The Japanese players weren't happy about it. I think global players seeing what's going on JP server kind of can anticipate what's going to be coming to global. I hope and I pray and I wish, obviously in this case, that Hiroki does a very good job with the implementation of EX Job 25. I hope it's not a rush product. I hope it's not a carbon copy of the JP version. And I hope that they make a refined version so when it finally does hit global, it is rolled out very smoothly for us. I think they will do a very good job with it, so I don't think it's a humongous wish for me, but it's definitely a wish. I think another wish I really hope to have is the fact that Hiroki touch up on the subject of exclusive collaborations for global server. And I think I want to kind of branch out and discuss a few things on this specific wish. The biggest wish I wish for is I hope we don't see too many global exclusive units. Because while I do enjoy the segregation and the deviation of global server away from the JP server, I don't hope that they keep adding exclusives for either server to kind of make you sort of choose, so to speak. I know there's a lot of players that play both, and I think you should be able to enjoy either or, and why not both? And ultimately, I hope we don't get too many exclusive units. My personal feeling is 1 per year is more than enough. I think this year we got Dwayne and we got Frevia. To me, I think both units can be ignored simply because what they do is sort of, not anything special. And I think that's kind of the good thing about having exclusive units, is that they actually do not offer anything extracurricular or extra to the rosters that we already have. And I think hopefully we can stick with that formula. The one thing I do want to touch upon though is special collaborations. I think a lot of us have been anticipating what could these special exclusive collaborations be. Given the fact that the Japanese culture and the Japanese player base don't necessarily share the same sentiments as the global players, it's a possibility that we may never actually see near collaboration on global, and we may see something completely different that perhaps the global players can relate to. Whatever that is, nobody really knows. At this point, it's just a guessing game. But on top of that, I really hope that if they give us one of these special collaborations, they give us more than enough time to enjoy the collaboration, rather than say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe give us a month and a half. Now, some people might not actually like that because maybe it's taking away too much of our time. But personally, if you give me 5 weeks, 6 weeks, where we can really just take our time to enjoy everything about it, whether it's new art, new weapons, new units, new equipment, new vision cards, whatever it is. Given the luxury of taking our time to enjoy everything rather than having this rush feeling that we've been having, farming things constantly week after week after week, I think hopefully that is a wish that can come true for me. Now, in addition to what I was saying, I guess you can pigtail this next idea. The next wish would be, I hope they don't give us too many events at once anymore. I remember there's 1 week I made a video that we actually had 7 items that we have the chance to farm for at one time. And I think some players were feeling a little frazzled, if you will, not sure what direction to go with. And I think I always enjoy the idea of having many options over little options. But I think in terms of events, giving us too many is not always a good thing. As they say, having too much of something isn't good for you. So last night during my stream, we had a lot of fun. In fact, we had so much fun that it kind of gave me some ideas to think about more wishful things, right? My first thing I noticed was when we were farming Shiva Brutal difficulty, I noticed that it was very crucial that we put specific units in specific slots. When we're playing solo on our own, we have the ability to change the formation of where we want to place the units at specific slots that the game allows us to. Now, I think it will be a great wish list for the companies to give us the option that the player who is hosting the room should have the ability to simply add and switch where players are joining. Now, obviously, the situation is based on when players join the room. They will subsequently land in the slots. If we can kind of move them around, that makes the strategy much more easier to implement and much easier for us to enjoy our playing time. I always have little nitpicks about games, things in life, whatever. And one nitpick I have about this game was that they gave us this wonderful feeling about scrolling down in the shop and we see something we like and boom, we buy it. We're like, oh, okay, I love Ice Brand, I'm gonna buy it. And before, it would stay in the exact same spot. Now, it annoyingly brings us back to the top, essentially making me go through the rack again. Now, I know this is just a nitpick and I didn't want to include this in my wish list, but then it gave me an idea. When you give people things that make them feel good about quality of life, or maybe it's perhaps a luxury, whatever it is, and then you take it away, whether it's an accident or on purpose, it doesn't really make us feel good. And I hope, and I really hope, that the game do not go backwards. And I think that's pretty much almost my biggest wish, is that if they give us quality of life changes or updates or whatever it is, I hope they don't start taking things from underneath our feet. Because that's one feeling I can't stand, is the ability of enjoying something so much that it all of a sudden gets taken away from us. Again, this for me is just a small example of a nitpick, but as you can see, it can be quite annoying, and hopefully this can be changed perhaps in a future update. But again, the basic concept of this tiny example, I think, serves a great purpose, is that we want things, if they're really good for us, to stay the same and not be taken away. I always enjoy games that give us progression in terms of good things, in terms of quality of life or whatever the case is. When games that I played in the past give you something really good and then take a couple of steps back on other things and they take it away from player base, to me, that's usually a sign of a dead game. And as it turns out, most of this game I quit became that. Now, I know many of you guys are probably watching this video and thinking, wow, I really have some wish list for myself. And if I was to really sit down and make a video about perhaps all the ones that I really hope for in this game, it may be a several hours of a video footage, and I don't want to do that. I think what I've given you guys is a small glimpse of perhaps potentially what this game could be going forward in the direction of, which is hopefully good, right? Since it's January 2 officially now, let's go ahead and move forward in a great direction, both not just the game, but in our lives as well. Remember, time is your most valuable resource, so spend it wisely. Until next time, take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters and his family out here. Peace.